see the game of today. Basically, Russia lost, Yasipenko lost drawish position. His opponent Lagarde played Scotch for knights, and it's totally like desertous position where white has nothing, and still they pose problems, and in the time trouble white won. So Russia was defeated, and now they lost second match in a row. So, but the game wasn't really exciting. So let's see this. This is much more exciting. This is King's Indian defense, and actually the tournament itself, should it be without Firuja, yeah, could be like a bit boring. I'd say that too many draws as I see, but like I'm just kidding. C4. Knight c3, bishop g7, e4, and d6. So this is the main position for King's Indian defense. Black castles, bishop e2. White wants to castle, e5, and white castles. Now, if white plays d5, so this is a so-called Petrosian variation, which I play a lot with white. The idea is to behind this move is to force black to play knight to d7, and then these two pieces kind of interfere with each other. But I don't know, black gets this c5 square, and black plays a5, puts knight to c5, and the position is not that sharp as in normally in King's Indian defense. d5, knight d7, and knight to e1. So there are different kind of moves here. Rook e1, I saw a game by Gelfand recently, and some bishop g5 and knight to d2. Yeah. White has more space, and they try to use this space to maneuver their pieces. Actually, black is has just very little squares available, so they for their pieces. So basically, they even cannot move this bishop. Bishop d7 would be a big mistake, yeah, because you not only make a move which kind of doesn't do a lot because you don't need this bishop over here, but you like take away very important square for the knight. So knight d7, black just plays this straight away, f5, f3, and f4. So when I was a little kid, if I play f4, then I'd be screamed at, yeah, so because it was considered like 20 years ago a mistake, yeah, but now just 2700 grandmasters played within like 10 seconds, yeah. They close this king side, they take away important e3 square from white, yeah, so you cannot put your bishop, and transfer to f2, and they kind of try to speak to this king, his majesty, like tete-a-tete. b4, g5, knight f6. I cannot really comment on this because if you follow chess, you obviously seen something like this. So black just gave f5 pawn room to move forward, and then they obviously need both knights near the king. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's what's happened. f5 and a4. So white also uses all these pawns to create not weaknesses but kind of attack. It looks a bit strange, yeah, but if you ruin this pawn structure, yeah, white will have a lot of tactical ideas, and another idea what white tries to do is to exchange this light square bishop, yeah, which also has really nowhere. If white gets this exchange, then black's potential to attack is weakens greatly. A5, a bit odd looking move. White tries to infiltrate with the knights. Knight g4, knight f2. This is also a bit odd maneuver, but let's notice it. Knight here, and knight to f2. The idea is to protect g4. Yeah, you can notice that queen is not moving. Yeah, because if you play g4, then white will have 4 defenders on g4 and exchange a lot of pieces, and actually it's in white's favor. King h1, a6. So what if we play a6? Yeah, white takes, and plays knight to a4, and they reach this important b6 square with knight and exchange the bishop, or take an exchange for black. So black tries to move forward as quickly as possible, yeah, because they understand that if there is some exchange, then they won't be able to continue with their attack. c6, and bishop takes. So white achieved something. They took a pawn, and they will exchange this light square bishop. b5, bishop h6. Maybe if white plays something like bishop a3, yeah, then for instance this bishop can become really strong, yeah, and basically this position is already winning for black. So that's why the problem with this King's Indian defense, yeah, this dark square bishop, but players like Kupreychuk, yeah, they could sacrifice a rook, full rook, just to open up this bishop, and even though they're down material, this extra piece just wins the game. And I also lost a couple of games in this style with black. Knight h5. Actually, both players played this pretty quickly. Yeah, they both have spent just half an hour, which is not much really. Rook g8. That's why black moved their king to put the rook on the g file. Takes g3. So from this now on, it's there is so much tactic, it's ridiculous, yeah, and I don't understand like half of it. What I want to say that in these positions, and in every position basically, if it's only a very simple one, yeah, this like Tal played it, yeah, you have to have an intuition, yet to sense for this kind of sacrifices, yeah, because you cannot just prove everything, and the engine gives some lines which are just impossible to imagine, yeah, and if you look at the, let's say, final position, and engine says that you're winning, but it's so not obvious that +4 means nothing, yeah, just black can win easily. So of course he plays here, because you don't want to consider like other move like going backwards, yeah, just you want to go to f3, and it's a big achievement, but engine says that it's a blunder. And it's engine gives a lot of blunders here. Knight g4 and takes. So let's think. So black's idea is to move the queen somewhere to h5, and they can also take at some point on h2 and win tempi with the check. So that's why white takes here. and knight takes. So if we take the knight, for instance, with the queen, then queen takes f3. But if you take with the knight, then yeah, the same. White wants to, force queen's exchange or something, yeah. And if you move queen towards the defense, then black cannot move their queen closer. So knight to h2 actually the best move. Knight takes and queen h3. So white wanted to exchange the pieces, yeah, but black just sacrifices in order to open up the game and get the queen to h3. Rook f3. Pawn takes. Queen h2 is a mate threat, and white plays the only move, rook to a2. And knight to g4, again very natural move. Maybe king knight f2 is a threat, but the engine said that it's a mistake and black should have taken here, and then knight to g4. Well, it's not obvious, yeah, because when you take, you kind of give up a tempo, yeah, but you want to leave this option to a later period, so you can think something else, yeah. So knight g4 is more just a scholar move than just taking without really understanding what's going on. And here black has black could take, but after rook takes, kind of white is okay, and so black played queen h5 and bishop f4. So what are the threats? Again, knight to f2 I think is the main idea, to take with the pawn, and then rook g1 will be very serious threat. So and if you take and actually, yeah, I think rook takes was the best move here for white. Everything else is just zeros, yeah. Bishop f4, just giving up the piece, but kind of defending the h2. Black took, rook f8, check. This move wasn't really good. Engine says that this check here helps black, because black plays king h7, and there are no more checks, and this piece is attacked. And if we take here, for instance, yeah, then it's too difficult to defend. Queen f3 was much better. Takes the piece, kind of pinning this knight, but it's not. It's very well protected, and this position is already losing for white. Check, takes, just takes here. Yeah, it's the only move. And in this position, white resigns. So, I mean, sorry, maybe I wasn't the best commentator for this game, but just the game was really spectacular, and black certainly showed not only like excellent calculation skills, but kind of understood the dynamics of the game. Yeah, when you need everything to open up the game. Yeah, so in this position, for instance, it's kind of sacrifice. Yeah, but he sacrificed the piece himself just in order to destroy as many defenders as possible. Yeah, and moving queen closer, and this queen here cannot like threaten an exchange. So good game, Gawain, and thank you for watching, and see you next time.